up, Woodward? We are starting off your day with a brand new crew. Meet Broder.
I can't control my arms sometimes. My limbs are just kind of flying.
Detroit Kool-Aid.
Fired up!
Y'all got Kool-Aid high.
Fired up! But with the Wake Up Woodward Crew, he's actually a part of the family.
Flannel Sam.
Ask me about my wiener.
Along with JB and KG. Wake Up Woodward gets you all of your Detroit sports talk. Every morning, 8 to 10 a.m. Live on Woodward Sports. A show for Detroit, by Detroit, with people from Detroit. Tell Siri to set an alarm, because it's time to Wake Up Woodward.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Wake Up Woodward live on the Woodward Sports Network. I am Flannel Sam. The man to my left is Mr. KG. As we all know, Kool-Aid is in San Francisco right now covering the All-Star game. So hopefully after he comes back from rubbing elbows with the likes of LeBron James and Steph Curry and, of course, Cade Cunningham, he remembers us little people again. Of course, we're just kidding. Kool-Aid, good luck.
Yep.
I know you're going to do great. And you're going to get a lot of great content for us. But yeah, KG is in for Kool-Aid. We got William Baker in the sound
Big
booth.
Willie style.
We got Chase in the chair. And we got JB Smooth in the TD booth as always. And we've got a jam-packed show. And it's funny because just before we get into it, I read the description, and I see the chat is already a little bit upset about said description, but a lot of that can just be thrown out the window. It was my bad.
We called it audible.
I forgot to change a couple of things on the prep because it would be kill. It would be remiss of me to not open the show with the Four Nations, and also we don't need to belabor the Matt Patricia to Ohio State anymore.
Man.
Instead, we are doing a Would You Rather in the 9 o'clock hour. I know you guys are going to like that better anyway. But to start out, USA, man, against Finland. 6-1 victory in the Four Nations tournament. A 4-goal onslaught in the third period. All I was thinking while I was watching that was, the Team America theme song, America, of course, America. Fuck yeah, I'll just say it. Fuck yeah, coming again. But no, it was, I guess in America, the land of bald eagles and Budweiser, shout out Miles Teller. We also play a superior brand of hockey. Am I right? Come on. We play a superior brand of hockey, but it was absolutely amazing to watch. Obviously, the standouts were the Tkachuk brothers, Brady and Matthew, getting 2 goals apiece. Absolutely unbelievable. And, of course, they're the sons of American hockey legend Keith Tkachuk. Man, just a hockey royalty right there, or in particular, American hockey royalty. You love to see it. And if you're Keith Tkachuk, not Keith Tkachuk, and Chase, if you're Matthew Tkachuk right now, you win a Stanley Cup with Florida, and then in your debut game in the Four Nations tournament, you score 2 goals alongside your brother who also scores 2 goals. How big does Matthew Tkachuk's cock feel right now to him? For real.
Sure it feels.
Pause. That's a crazy statement.
I'm sure it feels pretty big.
Pause. Chase, you ain't have to answer that, bro.
No, I mean, like you said, I was going to add that before you did, Sam. The caveat of, playing alongside your brother is playing as impressive as you are. I mean, there's probably not anyone who, at least in America, who's playing better or feeling as good as Matthew Tkachuk, on the ice right now and over the last, year and a half. Even like when he first got traded to Florida, he played really, really well. And although they didn't make it all the way in to the Cup and winning the Cup, I think they made the Cup final. And so, ever since he got to Florida, he's been a beast. He was really good in Calgary as well. So, absolutely. The Tkachuk brothers are playing really well. And then I heard an exact quote from our guy Sean Belizean yesterday when they were talking about the Tkachuk brothers, saying, Matthew, a little bit more speed, a little bit more finesse, but Brady Tkachuk plays exactly like his dad, Keith.
Yeah, and Brady Tkachuk is obviously somebody that if he's not on your team, he can rub people the wrong way. But I think all of us would take a Brady Tkachuk, right, Chase? You would?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
And he showed out. Obviously, it was nice to see Dylan Larkin on the big stage, although he didn't really play a whole lot, the second least amount of minutes on the entire team. But I don't look at that as much of a slight to Dylan Larkin as it is USA hockey, man, it's pretty stacked. Just when you look at the centers on the team, you got Jack Eichel, you got Jake Gunsel, you got Jack Hughes, you've got Austin Matthews. That's not what I like to call him because there's an O at the end instead of an A.
Austin.
But he's obviously Austin Matthews. You got JT Miller, you got Vincent Trocheck. It's just a loaded roster, at least when it comes to forwards and defensemen as well. So great win for USA. This was just it's a fun brand of hockey to watch too, Chase. Just like high-flying, blowout. Really, the Finns have a inferior roster, I would say, and USA made them look bad.
Yeah, I mean, right now I think USA, the USA hockey is as good as it's been maybe ever, if not in quite a while. I think, you could argue that we've actually even surpassed, like, Hockey Canada in recent years, and I think that's been a discussion among some of the former NHL players and current NHL players, when these type of talks, have been brought up in recent years. They haven't really been a stage for the best of the best to play, but now that, we do have it, we've seen, not only do we have the forwards and the defensemen, Zach Werenski as a defenseman had 3 assists last night you were talking about, but Connor Hellebuck as well. Jake
He was
Ottinger.
great.
Yeah, I mean, and then I would put those two up against Jordan Binnington for Canada. I mean, we saw Saros get pumped last night. He's a really good goalie. So Team USA is just firing right now.
I mean, what's your view of Four Nations as a whole? Because that Canada-Sweden game was pretty damn good as well. Have you enjoyed watching it?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really know exactly what to expect. The only thing I could kind of compare to was just almost a smaller version of the World Juniors, essentially, that I could think of. And obviously these guys are a little bit older, a little bit more mature, and their games is more polished and advanced. But I mean, it's been really exciting to watch, and hopefully we just continue to see some more really good hockey that we've seen in the first 2 matchups.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and when you talk about, and I know, obviously it's, USA, but we've got that Canada-Sweden game too. I know we didn't touch on it yesterday. And just when you look at the Canadian roster, that's just box office. Even if you're a hockey casual, you see Sidney Crosby, you see Connor McDavid, you see Nathan McKinnon, you see Cale Makar on the same roster, Mitch Marner, Braden Point, just absolutely stacked. Good. And then when you go to the Swede side, Lucas Raymond had a couple of assists. He looked like he belonged on the world stage. He was showing off the skill, which is passing and distributing, and which he's really gained this year. I mean, obviously he had it before, but he's setting career highs for power play assists. He's going to set his career high for assists, and on the biggest stage with the greatest hockey players in the world, he comes through again and was one of the biggest reasons why Sweden took Canada to overtime.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I remember talking to our guy Justin, Fire Up Chips, by the way, in the preseason about Lucas Raymond and his playmaking ability, trying to develop that, and we talked about him possibly getting 50 assists on the season. To see him playing up to that potential during the NHL regular season, although he started slow scoring the puck, he's been distributing it well, and then to continue that on the biggest stage with the best players from his country, in front of the largest audience that he's probably played in nationally, internationally in quite a while. It's awesome to see him get the flowers, the recognition, and the 3rd star in that matchup. It's
beautiful. I love to see it. And Mike G in the chat, shout out. Team USA also had about 32 hits, so keep an eye on that in our matchup against Canada. Yeah, you're gonna need that because Canada is absolutely loaded. And I wanted to ask you, Chase, because Kyle Shved says something in the chat. Larkin, a 4th liner. Were you disappointed to see Larkin not get the minutes, or are you more understanding that this is the international stage? There's a lot of great centers on USA that have put in a lot more time and accomplished a lot more than Dylan Larkin, with respect to Larkin, of course.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to cry about the minutes distribution. I mean, it was the first game. There's going to be a round robin. There's going to be a tournament that gets played, and, once the wheels really started rolling in the 3rd period, you just kind of let the hot guns just stay on the ice and keep firing. I'm not going to complain about the performance that Team USA put up just because Dylan Larkin didn't have as many minutes. Anytime you go 6-1 and you win a game, wearing your country's crest on your chest, who's going to complain about that?
No, there's nothing to complain about whatsoever, and I'm really looking forward to seeing USA play Canada. I believe it's tomorrow night. It's a lot. It's a lot of fun. I know that this All-Star break, it seems like forever for us Red Wings fans who wanted to see them maybe carry on that momentum, but getting to see this level of high-level hockey tournament play is it's just absolutely unbelievable.
It's like porn to him.
It is like porn. Well, it is like porn, especially seeing USA show out the day after Lucas Raymond really not really has his coming out party, but in terms of the national stage, not everybody watches the Red Wings.
But you does think this goes a long way in terms of him being a superstar,
of course,
on the way to being a superstar.
Well, I mean, Dylan Larkin and Lucas Raymond, like, they're the only 2 guys on the Red Wings who are still playing in this tournament. So, like, they're not getting as much of the break. So they're going to be able to stay fire and keep that momentum going.
Yeah.
And then, honestly, like, the rest, although, like, the team momentum was firing, I'm really looking forward to the health of Cam Talbot and Alex Lyon to just increase while just improve while we have this little bit of a break, because the Red Wings have the toughest strength of schedule on the second half of the season after this Four Nations break. So although it's kind of tough to see us maybe quote unquote lose a little bit of that momentum, like, we do have a tough stretch ahead. So it's cool to see some of our young guys, our leaders on the offense, get to keep firing, and then some guys on the back end, some of our older defensemen and goalies get some rest as well.
I mean, that's the thing. As do we think Vladimir Tarasenko probably needs a break? Probably. Patrick Kane, Cam Talbot, Ben Sherratt, Justin Holl, Jeff Petrie. Those are the for lack of a better term, the geriatric wing of the team. Respectfully, I don't know how you could say
the
that
senior
respectfully,
citizen edition,
but you know what I mean. They're the older folks. Obviously,
the
this Red Wings,
upperclassmen.
the upperclassmen. Thank you. That is literally 100 times more disrespectful than a geriatric. So glad that you had my back, Chase. But obviously this Red Wings team is fueled by the young guys, but the older ones getting a break, I do not hate that at all. And watching this Four Nations makes me even more excited to see what the Red Wings can do coming up in the second half of the season. But coming up next, I know in the last couple of days we haven't teed a lot of LB, but you know what? We are going with a Lions-heavy show today, and the Lions actually, there was some shakeup on their coaching staff. They made a hire, and one of their coaches who's already on the staff did a little bit of a transfer to another position, which is interesting, and we're going to talk about it. But first, I have to tell you, actually, JB, tell us about Caesars.
Oh, I got you. Caesars Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of us here at Woodward Sports. Do yourself a favor, scan that QR code on screen. Use code word Woodward1000. You can deposit up to $1,000, but all you have to do is place a minimum of a $20 bet, and you know what? If it doesn't hit, they will throw it right back into your account with no questions asked. What do you have to lose? Hell, I bet on Team USA last night. Cashed out. Shout out to Caesars once again. Scan that QR code on screen. Use code word Woodward1000 and make some money today.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month?
KG, try pulling that.
How do they like working out in the clean and spacious gym that's filled with
I did that. I was trying to do that the whole time. I was getting nothing, though. I'm
and
going to
how
try
about
these
free
headphones
fitness
and see if
training in
it'll
the
be better.
judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized
They
all
ain't never
day
been this
long?
bad.
What to say?
Never been this.
What is cool?
Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Game is won in the trenches, and our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports.
It's the Les Stanford Sign and Drive Sale. Get a 2024 Envision for only $239 per month, or try out the 2025 Sierra Crew Cab Elevation for only $249 per month. Don't forget about the 2025 Hummer EV SUV for only $789 per month. $0 security deposit, $0 due at signing, $0 first payment, $0 acquisition fee. Get to Les Stanford today and check out their massive inventory at the Sign and Drive Sale. Les Stanford Buick and GMC, lesstanford.com. Hey, keeping it pushing live on Wake Up Woodward. I am Flannel Sam. We got KG on the desk in place of Kool-Aid, who is covering the All-Star game this weekend. So shout out to him, and shout out to our guy, Cade Cunningham, and Asar Thompson being part of the festivities as well. You love to see it. Detroit and Wake Up Woodward is proudly represented, and isn't that great? It's something that even a couple years ago we would have never thought. So
I'm just happy for Kool-Aid, man. All the years of Pistons losing, now he gets to actually cover a team that's somewhat relevant right now. Going out to All-Star break, shout out to him, man. Safe travels.
He was at LCA every night last year.
It's tough, bro.
I don't know how he did it. Shout out, though. Shout out. He's the man. But do you know who else is the man? Tashard Choice apparently is the man because the Lions, they made a new hire. They hired former NFL running back, former Georgia Tech running back, and a former Texas and Georgia Tech running backs coach, Tashard Choice, to be their running backs coach. And Scotty Montgomery moves over to another position room and becomes the wide receiver coach. And Scotty Montgomery, for those of you who don't know, was a wide receiver in college at Duke, was a wide receiver in the NFL, had a short career. That's where he really cut his teeth, both as a player and as a coach. And of course, we all know Tashard Choice. It makes sense. Was a great player at Georgia Tech, played in the NFL, and has coached running backs as well at the highest level in college. So what do you make of all of this?
I mean, this is the typical Lions formula. They go out and get coaches that were former players that, you know, have good insight on the game, and I think he's going to come in and he's going to do wonders for this one running backs room, and especially seeing that he's already coached a Jahmyr Gibbs at the college level. So I'm really looking forward to what nuances he can bring, especially with a new offensive coordinator in the room, John Morton. Seeing them two get together and kind of, you know, shaping this running back room for the future, because I don't think the Lions need to go away from their strength. Their strength is running the football. It's through the offensive line and being physical. So getting a new guy in here, a new voice to kind of, you know, reset things, I don't think that's a bad thing at all. They picked a pretty good guy to come in and be that coach.
Yeah, and Tashard Choice, honestly, something that makes me get bricked up is the fact that the man literally coached Jahmyr Gibbs and Bijan Robinson in college.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm a Gibbs slap because he's been so great for the Lions, but I'm also a Bijan slap because he was great in Texas. He's one of my favorite college running backs ever, and I pay attention to him, what he's doing in Atlanta, and he's pretty damn good. And actually, pretty damn good's an understatement. He's very good.
And who are the two first-round running backs that we compare that we compare them to each other?
And those are, to me, the once Saquon and Derrick Henry. Obviously, they got to be at the top, but the next couple two on the list to me are Gibbs and Bijan. In that order, by the way. I do like Gibbs a little bit better, but I love Bijan as well. And when you're talking about a running backs coach, that's really all that you can go off on. Who has he coached? Have they had success? You also look at Texas the year after, when Bijan Robinson obviously graduated and got drafted in the first round. He coached Jonathan Brooks to an 1,000-yard season. Yep. And C.J. Baxter was a very good freshman as in his first year as well. And Jonathan Brooks, he actually ended up being a second-round draft pick. He was hurt. He didn't do much with Carolina, but that's still a pretty damn good accomplishment. Getting a guy in Jonathan Brooks, who is not even 1/10 the talent that Bijan is, to be a second-round draft pick. And then you even look at last year. Before the season, obviously, Jonathan Brooks had graduated. C.J. Baxter was supposed to take that role as RB1. They were expecting huge things out of him. He goes down with a knee injury in the offseason, misses the whole season. But you look at Texas, Quintravion Wisner, who really didn't do anything the year before, had a 1,000-yard season, and Jaden Blue stepped up as well. My point with all of this is that every single year that he's been a running backs coach, somebody has had success. He's either coached Jahmyr Gibbs, Bijan Robinson, 1,000-yard receiver in Jonathan Brooks, another 1,000-yard receiver in Quintravion Wisner, and those guys, Wisner and Brooks, aren't even elite talents. Yeah. So he's done it with every variety of running back you can have in college.
I mean, 2 first-round picks and a second-round pick, I don't think that's too bad, man. So, like I said, man, I think they got the right type of guy with the right type of attitude in this room. I'm not sure how he is personally, but hopefully he's somebody that can come in and motivate these players. You already got 2 stud running backs in a David Montgomery and a Jahmyr Gibbs, two people that are in sync already. So I think the job will be pretty easy coming in. It's just about what John Morton wants to do from an offensive standpoint in terms of play calling, but I think he'll fit in just fine.
Yeah, that's the interesting dynamic as, new running backs coach, new offensive coordinator. How are they going to work together? Who actually does more for certain player groups and position groups? It's only time will tell, but IT Hips, this is kind of funny. I didn't even know Jahmyr Gibbs played at Georgia Tech. He must have done well there with a triple option. It is funny because you do forget about that sometimes, because when you look at Jahmyr Gibbs' college career, he never even had an 1,000-yard season in college. That's not an insult. It's a testament to how he's grown his game in the NFL.
Yeah.
And maybe he was a little underutilized in both of his college stops. It is kind of funny to look at. But I'll be honest, I was a little bit surprised with Scotty Montgomery just getting the shuffling to another position group. And it's because Scotty Montgomery, the last couple of years, I don't know how much he had to do with it. Obviously, they're very talented. We talk about him coaching the best running back duo in the NFL.
Exactly.
In 2021, he was the running backs coach with the Colts in 2021 and 2022. That was Jonathan Taylor's 1,800-yard, 18-touchdown season. So it's kind of interesting. Obviously, the Lions and Dan Campbell feel that Scotty Montgomery is more needed to replace Antoine Randall than to stay at the running backs coach position and deprive Tashard Choice as for that spot.
Yeah, I think it's just a step in the progression of a Scotty Montgomery. This is somebody that can possibly be an offensive coordinator of the future. So him moving over to the wide receiver room, I think that's a positive. I don't really see a problem with it. And you can never have too many guys in one room, especially too many guys that are experienced, that know what they're doing, that have been able to get production out of the players that you have. So I like the fact that they kept them in-house. They didn't let them go out here. Hey, come coach the wide receivers. We got another guy coming in, very experienced, coaching the running backs in. They'll be working together in tandem as well. So it's not like he's just off to the wide receivers and just will never be heard of again. They will work together, and I'm sure Scotty Montgomery will impart some of the wisdoms that he learned during his time as the running backs coach to a Tashard Choice.
Yes, and absolutely. And a couple of comments in the chat. Dirty Dr. D, Montgomery was the assistant coach. He was the assistant head coach as well, and he's still the assistant head coach. It was just his specialty was running backs. He was both. And this year it's wide
another
receiver.
notch in the belt.
Yeah, and then Jake Wegner. Scotty did start as a wide receiver coach at Duke and then had the same role with the Steelers. And I wonder how the progression came to where Scotty Montgomery, his whole life, he's a wide receiver in college, wide receiver in the NFL, wide receivers coach, and then becomes a highly successful running backs coach, and then he goes back to being a wide receivers coach. But yeah, he coached wide receivers at Duke, his alma mater, and then in his 3 years coaching the Steelers as the wide receiver coach, I mean, their number one receiver back then was Mike Wallace.
Right.
Remember Mike Wallace?
Yeah, I remember Mike Wallace.
Oh yeah, he was a dog back then. He was. He had a couple 1,000-yard seasons. He also coached early career Emmanuel Sanders and Antonio Brown.
Not bad.
Antonio Brown obviously, got some good tutelage and wouldn't be where he is without Scotty Montgomery. Obviously, I don't know that, but it's definitely a notch on your belt to say I coached Antonio Brown even before he became as dominant as he was.
And it just speaks to how talented he is. I mean, the guy, he can literally coach any skill position, and I think that's an asset when you're a team trying to chase a Super Bowl and you have such a talented backfield like the Lions do, and a receiver room. Let's not get it messed up. So no, I think they'll work perfectly together. I really do.
No, they're making moves, that's for sure. And S in the chat, Flannel,
S?
Just S. Flannel, did your wife get you a bag of lettuce for Valentine's Day? Jeez. Only if she knows what's good for her. So if you're listening, wifey, bag of lettuce tonight.
He just threatened his wife. He just threatened his wife on there. Every time I get up here with Flannel, some bullshit happened. Last time it was AJ Hinch need to be fired. Now he threatened his wife.
Why do you got to bring that up again?
Right. I'm just saying, man. I don't need that kind of publicity. All right, I'm good.
All right, that's not a threat. That one came out.
Give me the lettuce or the gets it.
No.
Oh, man.
The Point probably wasn't a great move either. I do tend to point. It does seem a little threatening, but lettuce is my superfood, and superfood fuels me through, And
it's like Popeye spinach, Sam and lettuce.
And on that note, let's pivot a little bit. Dante151, thank you for saving me with the $10 super chat. You are the effing man. Did anybody know that Flannel's favorite Tiger player of all time, Brandon Inge, had a son named Tyler Inge, and guess which college he's going to play for? Michigan. Also, I don't hate that hire for the Lions.
Oh, well, go blue first and foremost. Not a big Brandon Inge guy, but go blue.
Second of all,
Brandon Inge.
when did I say that Brandon Inge was my favorite Tiger?
No way.
He's not. Do I think he gets a little bit disrespected in hindsight? Sure.
Maybe.
So if I defend him slightly, he's my favorite Tiger. As it's the same thing as like KG puts Cade number 6 on his MVP palette. He hates Cade.
I mean, well, that was a little ridiculous. I mean,
Yes.
you're more in lockstep with what he said, but me? Nah, come on now.
I know.
I'm Detroit through and through, man.
JB, what do you got?
I was just surprised that Brandon Inge was your favorite Tigers player. That was a little.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah, that was
Amongst the
blasphemy,
great
man.
Tigers,
Come on,
Brandon
man.
Inge.
Then no one else.
Guys, think about this. And Dante, I know you're just being funny. All I ever hear about, all anybody ever talks about is how much I hate role players. I think role players are useless. I think they might as well be tarred and feathered on their way out. Obviously, that's not the case, but what conclusion would you get to that Brandon Inge is my favorite Tiger? But Dante151 does clarify that he's just joking, and thank you. And yes, in shot, of course, lettuce is barely even a food. I don't eat it by itself, but I like to include it with most of my meals.
Pizza.
Like yesterday, Caesar salad for lunch. Cannot beat it. Chicken Caesar salad. Grilled chicken and lettuce. Are
That
you
actually
kidding
do
me?
sound good. I
Are
ain't
you
gonna lie
kidding
to
me?
you.
Kidding me? Might not even be the musket that day. Might be able to go twice. But
Oh, shit, he talking big game.
Double barrel.
well, it is Valentine's Day, so
Y'all
we
thought the
shall-
Super Bowl.
So we shall see. But are we all in lockstep that the Tashard Choice hire, the Scotty Montgomery moving over, that's not something that you think will harm the Lions? You think it's potentially a good move? Obviously, we don't know, but
Yeah.
all we have to go on is their track records, and both of them have track records at their respective new coaching jobs.
I mean, it's yet to be seen, but
Yeah.
you like the fact that they are going out to get guys that are experienced. You know, a lot of our coaches from the past cycle were first-time coaches, and the fact that you're going out there getting experienced guys, that shows me that they have a singular focus in mind, and they're trying to get over that hump that they desperately need to get over in these next few years. But I don't think it'll hurt the team at all. It might even help the fact that y'all want to run the ball more. Well,
Yeah.
you're getting guys in here that definitely want to run the football. So it's yet to be seen on the field, but we shall see.
Yeah, and if you're Tashard Choice, what better NFL job, first NFL job as a running backs coach, you just get Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. I didn't even think
pretty
about
damn
that.
good.
Tashard Choice probably feels like he won the lottery right now because he, in a lot of days, and this isn't disrespecting the running backs coach position, he could take a nap in practice and Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery are still going to ball out.
I mean, yeah, pretty much.
That's just the way that it is. And Scotty Montgomery could probably do the same for an Amon-Ra St. Brown, because we know that Amon-Ra St. Brown is as self-motivated as can possibly be. I think he responds well to coaching, and I think he probably did over the years with Antoine Randall L. But as of right now, what really do you need to impart in an Amon-Ra St. Brown?
You don't.
You
I
don't.
mean, everybody on this team is ready to go, especially from an offensive standpoint. So
Yeah.
it's just plug and play at this point. But I do look forward to seeing what the nuances will be.
Yeah, I can't wait to see. It's certainly interesting. Hopefully, Scotty Montgomery can have the same success as a wide receivers coach that he's had recently as a running backs coach. It's just he's a little bit of a renaissance man there, Scotty Montgomery.
Yeah.
Just he knows offense, he knows all of the positions. But speaking of, not really a way to transition that, Planet Fitness, because Planet Fitness is where your fitness is
C+.
essential. And that probably, thank you for the generous grade. They have 50 plus Metro Detroit locations. You can get the cheapest membership if you just want to work out at your home gym for only $15 a month, or you can upgrade to the Black Card for $24.99 per month, in which you get the best amenities such as being able to go to any Planet Fitness across the world, or you can bring a guest with you. Join today in club or online, or visit planetfitness.com. It's Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles, and with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Big injuries? Big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Yo, let me tell you guys about some Woodward Sports merch that we got going on right now. Head over to woodwardsports.com, click on that shop tab. New designs every single week for you. But you know we already got the LFG Red Wings t-shirts and hoodies available for you right now as well too. I wish you were wearing some of them when Team USA was playing over there in our Four Nations tournament going on. You also got the Woodward Tigers as well too. Go out and grab some of those because you know training camp is starting very soon and the season will be here before you know it. Get in that Woodward Sports Tigers gear as soon as you can. Get swagged out for the season.
Hey, welcome back to Wake Up Woodward live on the Woodward Sports Network. I am Flannel Sam. We got KG to my left filling in for Kool-Aid, who is covering the Pistons at the All-Star game. We got William Baker in the sound booth. We got Chase in the chair, and we have JB in the TD booth. And we all know that the Eagles won the Super Bowl in dominant fashion. They won the NFC Championship game in dominant fashion. But we all know, too, that a lot of Lions players, probably all of them, think that it could have been them, it should have been them, they could have played better against Washington. Maybe, what if they were healthy? Who knows? But certainly if you're a competitor and you're a team that finished 15-2, you probably feel like you should have been there instead of the Eagles, and you probably feel like you would have beat the Chiefs as well as the Eagles did. However, Amon-Ra St. Brown actually said something on his podcast, made it public, which was when asked about the Lions potentially playing the Eagles in week 1 of next season, Amon-Ra St. Brown, quote, "You would see what could have happened in an NFC championship with a healthy defense, how that shit operates." Thank you. That's courtesy of Moneyline ML Football. So, KG, I'm going to ask you first.
All right.
What do you make of these quotes? Should he have said something like this publicly?
I mean, I don't have a problem with him saying something like that because the fact does remain that the Lions had over 20 injuries on defense. And I know that number got lesser and lesser as the year went along, but the fact that you didn't have a full complement of your defense, we don't know what would have happened if they actually were fully healthy going against that Washington Commanders team. So I don't have a problem with him saying this. But I mean, it's yet to be seen, man, because we don't really know what would have happened if we ran into the Eagles, especially considering how they played in the Super Bowl. They absolutely dominated the Kansas City Chiefs, man. So I think it's something maybe to look forward to. We do have to play the Eagles on the schedule next year. We'll be going to Philadelphia. So I mean, it's a little foreshadowing, it's a little, just trying to get the juices flowing for next year, but I don't have a problem with it.
Okay, fair enough. JB.
I don't say him.
No, it's all right. You don't know. I got my poker face on. That's why I want to go to JB first. What do you make of these comments? Do you have a problem with them? Do you like them? The floor is yours.
I don't have a problem with them saying that. As KG said, like, hey, talk your shit as much as you can. I mean, looking back at the Super Bowl now, the Eagles were completely dominating the Chiefs every single time they had possession. So it brings into question, like, would our defense have held up as much? I know he says a healthy defense at that, but, like, you're still kind of questioning Aiden Hutchinson coming back for that, off of that injury.
Right.
Will he be 100%? Will he be able to give his all? So it does kind of put into question, like, could we have, lasted or done a better job than the Chiefs did. I think we could have, but then again, hey, you never know. So,
Chase, I want to go to you too. What do you make of these comments? Do you have a problem with them? Do you like them? Floor is yours.
I mean, I don't really have a problem with it. You can say whatever you want, but I mean, like my response to it would be that the Eagles had to beat the 2-time defending Super Bowl champions to become the reigning defending Super Bowl champions. So, I think that's a pretty real team they had to play and beat to become who they are now. So that's just all I'm going to say to that.
Fair enough. I absolutely hate these comments.
I know you did. I knew it. I smelled it on you.
Yeah, I probably gave it away a little bit. I don't.
Why do you hate these comments, Sam?
I hate these comments because if you want to talk like that, win the game against the Commanders. That's kind of my issue with it all. You lost in the divisional round. And this to me screams, this is my least favorite thing in the entire world. My least favorite thing that I hear at this network sometimes, usually from the 11 o'clock show, and all throughout sports media. Victory lapping when there is no victory. Victory lapping when you actually took a pretty embarrassing loss.
You think this was a victory lap?
I absolutely do.
Okay.
Because he's talking about a theoretical NFC championship game that the Lions didn't even make.
Yeah.
The Eagles.
I don't consider that a victory lap, though.
But get there, though. That's my problem. The Eagles not only beat the Commanders, they beat the piss out of them. The Eagles then, in the Super Bowl, had the defending 2-time champion down 40-6. 40-6. What I would have preferred Amon-Ra St. Brown to say is something like, I'm looking forward to playing them next year. I'd like to see how our healthy team stacks up against theirs. I just don't think you should invoke a hypothetical NFC championship game that you didn't even make. And I've used injuries as injuries I think lowered the ceiling of this team, but I still think there was no excuse to lose to the damn Commanders.
And in fairness, they had everything that they needed to beat that Commanders team, and I do stand on that. I understand the injuries did play a part, but the Lions got to a 15-2 record in the face of injury. So I expected them to go into that divisional round game and do what a number 1 seed should have done. So I will give you that, but to say it's a victory lap, I don't necessarily view it as that. I just think it's more so motivation and just just kind of wondering what if, because I mean, it's hard as a player to not visualize yourself in that NFC championship game when you were the number 1 seed, when you did have 15 victories going into it. And we all know that the Lions should have beat the Commanders. They didn't. We got to live with that. But I don't think it's by means of I don't think it's a victory lap by any means.
Yeah, I can see how you could come to that conclusion. In Jeff Reviews in the chat, ignoring everything he said healthy, Sam. No, I understand. It's just the reality of the situation is they weren't. And I personally think, and I know this isn't what he's saying, that the Lions, as constructed with the injuries, they would not have beaten the Eagles. I think you can talk about how next year playing the Eagles should be a motivating factor, and going to Philadelphia could be fun, maybe ruining their Super Bowl ring ceremony and all of that. I get all of that, but just invoking an NFC championship, a hypothetical NFC championship game. Now the Lions are becoming that team that's undefeated in hypotheticals, and I don't like that.
I get it, but you just used the hypothetical too. The Eagles would have beat the Lions. We don't know.
If
they were fully healthy, we don't know.
All right, fine. But the Eagles gave themselves a chance. The Lions did not. The Eagles took care of business against the team that they should have took care of business against, which was the Packers, and the Lions did not against the Commanders. I get it that the Eagles were healthier, but we all think that no matter what, even with the injuries, the Lions should have beat the Commanders.
Yeah, and like I said, that is fair, but I think this is harmless. I think this is just, a player trying to visualize what it would have been like to go up against a team like that with a full complement of your defense. And I'm not necessarily mad at that, man. We all wonder what if. So it is what it is at this point.
I just think that
you can't change the results.
I think that that's something that you should believe as a competitor. I think that that's something that you can talk about with your teammates in the locker room and truly believe, because I don't necessarily disagree that a healthy Lions team would have stacked up against a healthy Eagles team well. I don't disagree with that at all. It's just, if you don't get there, I think those words ring a little hollow as like a hypothetical victory lap.
All right. So to say that they're victory lapping is to kind of say that you feel like he's being arrogant in a way. Do you feel like the Lions players are arrogant in any type of way? Not trying to trap you, not trying to give you a loaded question, but Do you think there's a level of arrogance or just, overconfidence?
Okay, so as a player, you have to believe certain things. And obviously, the Lions had a right to be a little bit arrogant during the 15-2 season. My thing is that I just hope that what happened in the playoffs and what happened this season and how it just ended so badly gives the Lions, the players, and the fans, even myself included, a healthy taste of humble pie. I'm not saying that don't go into the next season overconfident. It's just that I truly believe that Lions players, Lions fans lost track of the fact that you can lose.
Yeah.
Things can happen in the playoffs. Nobody even thought that it was a possibility that they could lose at this point, to the point where if you didn't predict double-digit victories on the show, you're a hater. You know what I mean?
So they overlooked the Commanders is kind of what you're getting at.
Probably. I mean, look how they performed. They were terrible.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to sit up here and say it's completely out of the realm of possibility, but I just don't see a Dan Campbell coach team being like so overconfident to the fact where they overlook an opponent. This Lions team has never overlooked anyone. Now, do I think they went out there and didn't execute? Absolutely. But I stop short of, overconfidence or overlooking an opponent, because the Lions track history tells me that they don't do that. So
remember what Dan Campbell said to Kevin O'Connell after the game? See you in 2 weeks. They did.
I get that, but you were a number 1 seed. If anybody has the right to talk, I think it's a 15-win team.
But do I have the right then to be like, maybe MCDC, you shouldn't have said that in hindsight?
Yeah, but true. But everybody's eyes were on the prize. I don't think it's overconfidence by any way. But they did not execute. So I can't just sit up here and be like, oh, you're just completely wrong. No, but I just don't see that with a Dan Campbell coach team. I've never seen that out of them. So,
and I hadn't either, for the record. And I'm not even necessarily saying that the effort wasn't there. It was just the execution was not good. The injuries did hurt them, obviously, but if you don't turn the ball over, you still win that game. I lost it.
Win it pretty damn convincingly.
Maybe
you don't. Because you go up 17-3, man, I think the outlook of that game completely changes. But we'll never fucking know, unfortunately. Thanks for bringing my hurt back. I appreciate that.
All right, well, Amon-Ra St. Brown helped a lot with that as well. But that's the thing. Unfortunately, it's the last game. It's the off season. It's going to be something that is relived often.
And he's not wrong. We are going to get to see what it looks like when probably fully healthy. And that's all we go for.
What it looks like playing a healthy Eagles team.
Yeah. Not in the NFC Championship.
Not what it would have looked like if they would have made the NFC Championship game. If he just changes a few words around, I have no problem with what he says. Maybe I'm looking a little bit too much into it. Maybe I'm being a fuddy-duddy. Maybe I'm not a real Lions fan. But
no, you're a real Lions fan. You are the fun police, though. So I'm just saying. You lucky I ain't got the buzzer over there. Will don't know the buzzer yet, but
they lost to the Commanders. There is no NFC Championship game.
I get it, man. But it's just it's reminiscent on a season that was a good season. Yes, it ended in failure, but overall it was a good year. And I think it's okay to just wonder what if. I mean, shit, we all wondering what if as fans. I don't think that's a problem.
I don't wonder what if. It's in the past. There's no point in looking back at it. It's not.
Well, you different.
Like, hindsight's 20/20, and it's easy to say coulda, woulda, shoulda. But all you can do is just focus on the things you can focus on, and that's the future.
I mean, true, but as a player, you probably are still you're not okay with what the fuck happened. You still thinking about that. You're gonna be thinking about it for months. So I do get your aspect of it. You are a fan, and fans can feel how they feel. But as a player going through that, I can't imagine. I would be sick literally until the season starts again.
Of course, and I'm sure that they all are.
Yeah.
And Jerry,
which is why I don't have a problem with this.
Jerry Miller says something in the chat. Our fans are arrogant now. You asked me that question. Do you think, KG, that we have an arrogant fan base, or do you think they have a right to be a little bit, to quote Carson Anderson, chesty?
I do think you have the right, especially considering our history and what the fuck we have been. Now that we have a product that we can actually root for, I don't think fans are being arrogant. Now, there are, maybe certain fans that might take it a little bit over the top, but I think the majority of the fans realize what we have here is it can be something special. And we all think that it is something special. And they've done things that we've never seen as fans. I mean, franchise record and wins, all these records that they continue to break, getting to an NFC championship, being a number 1 seed in the NFC. We've never seen any of these things. So I don't think it's a problem for fans to be confident and pound their chest about a team that's going out there and giving us a reason to pound our chest.
That's fair, and I agree with that with last season. I think a healthy dose of humble pie without, crapping on their enthusiasm last year is probably needed, and I think going into next year there's going to be a little bit more levity. And
yeah.
I can agree with that. Kenneth Matthews in the chat. Great point, Flannel. Thank you. 100% correct. No wonder I read this one, but for real, if you play sports, looking past people cost teams since the beginning of sports. And I'm going to bring up something again, which I brought up after it happened. Some people might not like it. Some people might say, let's not live in the past. I don't necessarily want to paint the fans and the players with a broad brush of being arrogant and looking past the Commanders. But do you know who did look past the Commanders and were super arrogant?
Who?
We were. Some of those thumbnails, and I was watching from afar because when I'm not here, I'm not always here, but I'm always here.
Yeah.
I was like, what the F are we doing?
Yeah.
Delusional Commander fans think that they're going to beat the Lions. I'm like, what?
Well,
they have no chance to beat the Lions. I'm like, come. I've always said, and I'm consistent with this, a healthy respect of opponent does not mean you're scared.
No.
The fact that those two things get conflated make me want to lose my effing mind. Respecting opponents does not mean you're scared. It means you have a healthy respect, and I always have. I would even, before the Jaguars game, be like, Josh Hines-Allen and a Trayvon Walker are formidable, although I would pick the Lions to kill them, but you got to have a healthy respect of your opponent.
No, I get that, and I can at least speak for me and Kool-Aid during those 2 weeks. We definitely showed love to the Commanders.
Not saying you guys.
And we're not, and I know that. And I know, we're not in control of, said thumbnails. Shout out to all the great people that work in the back. The thumbnails can be a bit testy. I get it. But if you actually watch the content, I think most of us at the network were giving the Commanders credit. But at the same time, we were the number 1 seed in the NFC. I think we had a right to feel a little bit confident going into a home game against a team, a lower seeded team that kind of, struggled throughout the year but managed to get in. So, and that's taking nothing away from Jaden Daniels and the talent that he is, but I think we all view the Commanders as a team that is good, but they're not ready yet. They haven't arrived yet. Would you agree with that?
Yes, and what I would have said, if I would have been here, which unfortunately I was not for the predictions, what I would have said is something like, I expect the Lions to win. I don't think that the Commanders will be able to stop the Lions offense if they play their game. I think Jaden Daniels is going to get his, and I think that the Commanders are going to put up some points, but I think the Lions offense is just a little bit better, and maybe a Kirby Joseph will get a timely pick. That's probably what I would have said. And I think, and I'm not saying my analysis is perfect. Obviously it didn't turn out that way, but just as a network, more so as a Big D Energy show, I'm just like, what the F are we doing?
And I feel you, but to kind of add to that, when you watch the game and actually saw how it played out, I think we can all agree that, yes, the Commanders were good and they were ready to come in there and play their best game against the Lions, but we beat ourselves. And I think everybody would agree in this room that the Lions majority beat themselves in that football game. It wasn't necessarily no disrespect, but it wasn't necessarily what the Commanders did.
Wild question. Yeah, I mean, just to tie it back to, you were talking about poker a second ago, Sam, I think a lot of Lions fans, and I'll include myself in it, was feeling pretty cocky. I thought the Lions, had a full house, it's essentially, with their offense. And, unfortunately, the Commanders ended up beating us with 4 of a kind, with those turnovers. We had 3 interceptions, 1 fumble, and that, just like in poker, 4 of a kind beats full house.
Yeah, turnovers are self-inflicted.
Exactly.
There
so,
you
that's
go.
just the Lions, I felt like we were just pushing the chips all in. It was a great year, one of the best, the best that this team has ever seen. So, I mean, yeah, to quote Sean Belizean again, the suddenly cocky Lions fans of this year, we're feeling pretty good. And I think you're right, Sam. Definitely a little bit of humble pie had to be 8, but like I said, I still like in hindsight, I still don't feel bad about, all my emotions or like
I don't
have any
either.
regret about, my perspective leading into that game. Like I
Yeah,
said,
I take nothing back.
Yeah, like I said, we had a full house, had a good hand, pushed chips all in, and got beat by a better one. Sometimes it happens.
But there's the thing, KG, and well said, Chase, by the way. I think the whole everything was self-inflicted is a bit of a hypothetical victory lap.
Okay. Come on, Sam.
I'm just saying.
How?
It's like, you were talking about, if they don't turn the ball over, they win handily.
Sam, you've literally
self-inflicted.
came up here and said that if Jared Goff plays better, they win that game. Have you not said that?
I have.
So would that not be self-inflicted wounds?
Okay, but the Commanders did a lot. They had to make the plays. Mikey Sanders had to make the plays.
I promise I'm not trying to take away anything for what the Commanders came in here and did. But the storyline of this game was that the Lions made too many mistakes, and the Washington Commanders were able to capitalize on said mistakes.
Fair. And
that's all we're saying. I'm not victory lapping.
No, and I think we all think that if any team were more likely to make those mistakes, it would have been the Commanders.
Right.
But it wasn't. And speaking of Commanders and Lions, because I think we've done enough of this topic, I'm sure people are.
We could go all day with
people
this.
Are a little bit. I'm sorry if I brought up certain emotions, and I even brought some up in myself, because we're all still hurting to some degree over that. But the way that I think some of us are coping, or even Amon-Ra St. Brown is saying stuff I don't necessarily agree with, but we all agree that hopefully they come back with a focused new energy and they get the job done next year.
And I think they will.
But coming up next, reason I said speaking of the Lions and Commanders, a task was given to all of the WSN hosts, all 9 of us, to rank our top 5 NFC quarterbacks. And I came up with, based off of that, with a consensus based on a formula that I use, and I'm going to show you what it is, and we are going to see if we agree what changes we would make, or if the list is perfect, which I'm sure not everybody is going to feel that the list is perfect. But first, tell us about Jars.
Jars. I gotta tell you about Jars.
That good guy.
Attention, all skiers and snowboarders, get ready to send it on a 14-foot drop-in with 3 custom features at the brand new Jars Utica location parking lot on Saturday, February 22nd from 1 to 5 p.m. It is a jam-style competition judged by 3 guest pros, $8,000 up for grabs in cash. So I hope you're ready. Head over to jarscannabis.com/JarsRailJam to sign up and register. Open to skiers and snowboarders. You must be 21 or older to participate, and there's only 50 participants, so you have to lock in your spot today. D-Mac and Stick will be doing a special broadcast from 2 to 4 p.m. that day as well too. Spectators are always welcome. The event is free to attend, and there will be food with any Jars purchase that you have. Live DJs, more giveaways as well too. Drop in, cash out, and as always, get real.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles, and with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Head to WoodwardSports.com and click on shop. Get the latest in Detroit sports apparel and exclusive Woodward Sports gear. WoodwardSports.com can get the whole team outfitted. Love the Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers? We got something for you, too. Shop online at WoodwardSports.com.
Lady Janes, and of course, shout out to all the beautiful Janes that work over next door, working hard as always. But at Lady Janes, they take the chore out of getting a haircut. The talented stylist over there will deliver an industry-leading haircut, relaxing scalp massage, hot lather. This ain't Kool-Aid. Hot lather, neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. And that towel placement varies, but they are open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Janes haircuts for men. Y'all know the slogan. It's wicked awesome.
It is wicked awesome for sure. And you know what else is wicked awesome? Woodward Sports and the Wake Up Woodward Crew. And
you damn right. Hey, and smash that like button, man. We working hard up here, man. Kool-Aid done left us. He off to bigger and better things with the NBA and us slowly Woodward Sports hosts. We are just here to provide y'all some entertainment. So we would please appreciate it if y'all hit that like button.
Absolutely. Smash that like button. And if you want to go to the front of the line and for us to 100% read your super chat, actually put in a little bit and give us a super chat, and I will make sure to read it. But yesterday, we were given a task as Woodward Sports hosts to list our top 5 NFC quarterbacks.
Ooh.
And it just so happens that my list is exactly in line with the formula that I use. Hold it for just a second. But the formula that I use, there were 5 quarterbacks that were pretty much on everybody's list. There was Jalen Hurts, there was Jared Goff, there was Matthew Stafford, there was Baker Mayfield, there was Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
Whatever each host would rank them as, I would put, say, if they ranked Jalen Hurts 1, I would have a 1. And then if they ranked him, next person ranked him 4, I would say 4. It'd be 1 + 4 = 5. Whoever had the lowest score gets the consensus number 1, second, third, fourth, etc., etc.
That's some big brain shit right there.
My list just happened to be 100% aligned with what the consensus list was. No bias whatsoever. So, JB, if you want to put up my list, this is also the consensus list from Woodward Sports hosts.
I'm scared of this one.
Number 1, Jalen Hurts. Number 2, Jaden Daniels. Number 3, Jared Goff. Number 4, Matthew Stafford. And number 5, Baker Mayfield. And if you know me personally, you know how much it pained me to put Baker Mayfield on this list, but I personally think that he's earned it, and most other Woodward Sports hosts did as well. And if you want kind of some fun facts about this list about everybody else's list before I throw it over to you, KG.
Yeah.
So the most popular choices for number 1 were Jalen Hurts and Matthew Stafford.
Wow.
3 Woodward Sports hosts put Matthew Stafford as number 1.
Oh, I wonder who those hosts were.
Easy, Ryan Ermanni, and Braylon Edwards. Myself, Kool-Aid, and Darren McCarty put Jalen Hurts as number 1, and Spenny put Jaden Daniels as number 1, and Maz did as well. And of course, Neil was the only one who put Jared Goff number 1, to the surprise of absolutely no one. So I'm gonna go around the room.
That's crazy.
I want to get everybody's opinion on this list. KG, I'm gonna start with you. What do you think of this list? What changes would you make, if any?
Okay, I get that this is a consensus list that you didn't put any bias in, but and listen, Jalen Hurts, he got it done in the postseason, so I give him 100% credit for that. I do think should be in the top 3 of NFC quarterbacks, but once again, quarterback is about passing the football. And one thing that Jared Goff does better than a lot of the people on this list is pass the football. You just look at Jared Goff's completion percentage numbers over the past year, the touchdowns, the yardage. He is a better, quote, pure quarterback than a Jalen Hurts. And I get that Jalen Hurts has a different element to his game. The way the Eagles utilize him is a little bit different. But if we're talking just in terms of quarterback play, I think Jared Goff, and he was arguably, without a doubt, for probably damn near the whole season, the best quarterback in the NFC. I think you have to have him number 1. But I will say it is arguable, since Jalen Hurts did go out there and win that Super Bowl. It's arguable.
All right.
But Jaden Daniels, and trust me, I get the hype on Jaden Daniels. I do think he is going to be a problem for years to come. He is not as developed as a passer as a Jared Goff or Matthew Stafford or he might be on the same level as Baker Mayfield, but Goff and Stafford without a doubt. So, I mean, if I was rearranging this list, I would put Goff number 1. I'd probably put Hurts 2 because of the Super Bowl. Jaden Daniels, I'm not putting him over Matthew Stafford just yet.
Wow.
So I would put Matthew Stafford 3, Daniels 4, Baker 5.
Wow. I didn't expect we would have so much variance. See, I think Jalen Hurts, when the discussion is had about him, sometimes we talk about how he doesn't throw the ball a whole lot. Sometimes we talk about how he's a tush-push merchant. But let me just read you this, because when you really look at what Jalen Hurts has accomplished in the NFL, he's putting together a Hall of Fame resume. And I'm not even a Hurts slappy. I'm just somebody who is just looking at it as it is. Jalen Hurts this year was a Super Bowl MVP, the first player drafted after Patrick Mahomes to win a Super Bowl MVP.
Facts.
So he's the only young quarterback besides Mahomes who's really won anything. And I get it, he had a stacked team, Saquon Barkley, defense, and all of that. But you also know about Jalen Hurts that he is historically a fantastic Super Bowl performer. And in said Super Bowl, Saquon Barkley didn't do anything, although the defense certainly did. In 2022, the 2022 season, he was second in MVP voting for the regular season and played a Super Bowl in which he had a passer rating of over 100 and 3 rushing touchdowns. He had a fumble that was returned for 6, but I think he did more to make up for it.
Yeah.
And then you look at the last 4 seasons. The last 4 seasons in the entire bleeping NFL leads the entire bleeping NFL in rushing touchdowns and is already 9th in NFL history in playoff rushing touchdowns for any single player. So I think Jalen Hurts, people forget just how accomplished he is in this league, and he is coming off a Super Bowl MVP. That's why I have him at number 1.
And I'm not mad at that, and I get that people are going to favor the dual threat aspect of a lot of these quarterbacks. This is why you see Jalen Hurts and Jaden Daniels being the most voted on quarterbacks in this list. I just think if we're talking quarterback play, I think the passing, it should supersede rushing. I'm not saying the rushing shouldn't matter, but as far as passing numbers and passing stats, I think that takes the majority over rushing stats. And although these quarterbacks have great rushing numbers, Jared Goff is the better passer out of all of these quarterbacks, except maybe you can make an argument for Stafford. But Jared Goff's numbers, he's been top 3 in all the major QB stats over the last 2 years.
I understand that, but if we're nitpicking, look at the playoffs this year. I got to ding him for that.
I understand that.
I would have put him at number 1 even the day of the divisional round. I really would have.
Yeah.
I would have put him there, but he didn't show up in the playoffs. He was terrible in the playoffs. And then it allowed me to nitpick his resume a little bit more. And I'm not here to do that because Jared Goff, I still think that we can win a Super Bowl with him and all of that. And most people do.
But this is why I say him and Hurts is arguable for number 1. I have no problem with anybody that wants to argue Jalen Hurts for number 1, but to put Jaden Daniels over Jared Goff, that's kind of where I'm like drawing the line a little bit.
This is the Jaden Daniels philosophy for me, and I think where a lot of people have it. Obviously, we got to look at the fact that he had the greatest rookie season in NFL history, 100 passer rating, while also leading his whole bleeping team in rushing yards, which is spectacular. His first 2 playoff games had a passer rating of 110 or more in both of them, and en route to getting to said NFC Championship game, outplayed 2 of the other guys on this list, Baker Mayfield first and then Jared Goff second. And with Jaden Daniels too, when we're looking at all-encompassing quarterback, he's the one guy on this list that I think has the talent and just the right stuff, if that makes sense, the confidence, the leadership, everything that goes into playing a quarterback to be, and I'm going to agree with something that Colin Cowherd said, the Mahomes of the East. Of the NFC.
Yeah.
This is, to me, when you look at ceilings of all of these guys, Jaden Daniels is higher than all of them, and he already balled out in his rookie year to the tune of the greatest rookie season we've ever seen, which nobody disagrees with.
Once again, but it's a rookie season, and if we're comparing resumes, Jared Goff's resume is definitely up there, and I would not put a Jaden Daniels ahead of Jared Goff just yet. This may be the future. This may even be as soon as next year, but as of right now, I cannot say that Jaden Daniels is a better quarterback than Jared Goff, because Jared Goff has done it in the playoffs. He has more playoff victories. He's been to a Super Bowl, and I do get it, but it's Jaden Daniels' rookie season. We did the same thing with C.J. Stroud, and not to say C.J. Stroud had a bad sophomore season, but it just wasn't what people expected. We were expecting him to possibly win the MVP this year, and he was nowhere even close. So that's where I back off.
All right, fair enough.
That's my line.
I get it. I get it. And Broder has a list in the chat,
Shout
which
out.
I want to read. And
Big Broder.
See if anybody, let me see if I can find it and see if more people agree with it. He's got Goff at 1, Stafford at 2, Hurts at 3, Baker at 4, and Daniels at 5. I guess I value talent and what he could be going into next year more than Broder and you. And that's okay. We all evaluate this differently. This also goes into why I put Goff over Stafford. Because if we're ranking quarterbacks all time, Stafford is, in terms of all quarterbacks currently playing in the NFC, he would rank highest on all-time lists because of what he's accomplished, the yards, the touchdowns, the Super Bowl season, the playoff passer rating, all of that, the 41 touchdowns in the regular season, 9 in the playoffs, all of that. But the reason I put Goff over Stafford is, one, what happened in the playoffs following the 2023 season. Stafford was great in that game, but Jared Goff was just a little bit better. Yep. Because when you look at certain resume things with Stafford, you could argue Stafford over Goff. But in recent seasons following 2021, Stafford really hasn't had that monster season, although he's been very good in the playoffs. The reason I have Goff over Stafford more than anything is what I think he will be this year and what he will be in the future. I think Matthew Stafford is on his last legs. Yeah. So I think this is an interesting list because it just shows how differently you can evaluate quarterbacks and where you rank them. I think for the most part, we all have the same 5. I know that D-Mac had Jordan Love on it, which I'm not necessarily mad at. Yeah. But
he got to play his way back into
this.
That.
This is, I think, the consensus top 5.
And it should be coming off this season and just what played out during the regular season and the playoffs. So, no, I would agree with that. Chase, I got to get your opinion on this. What do you feel? Do you feel like this list is correct? Do you value the running aspect a little bit more than just pure quarterback play? What's your thoughts on it?
I'm okay with putting Jalen Hurts at number 1. I mean, he's the reigning Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl MVP, so I get it. I think it's a little bit of recency bias to put Jaden Daniels ahead of Jared Goff. And even Matthew Stafford and Baker Mayfield, I think he's had, like you said, he's a rookie. You know, he had a really good season, but let's see him come back and do it again. I think if it was his second year and we saw him, you know, get to the playoffs twice and have this type of success, you know, not necessarily making the NFC Championship game, but at least winning a game in the playoffs, then yeah, it's, you know, you could have a little bit more leg to stand on. But I mean, it was one season. I think they were able to kind of catch the little teams by surprise, so to speak, similar to like the way the Lions were, you know, and their rise to, you know, to where they are now. So, I mean, I think after next year we can maybe have that argument of like him in the top 2, top 3 discussion. But I think right now you have to wait to see a little bit more before you can, you know, definitively put him in that argument.
I got you. Jay Bizzle, do you got an opinion on this?
It's not a terrible list. If anything, I would flip-flop Goff and Daniels. Daniels just needs to prove it just a little bit more for me, so I'd have Goff at 2. Jalen Hurts, obviously, I believe is consensus number 1. He's honestly on this list for the dual threat purposes and the tush push. Let's be honest. If all quarterbacks and all teams can do that, they probably would as well too. Matthew Stafford, you got to respect the man's arm. And Baker Mayfield, like, he's overcome a lot. Like, no one wants to truly admit it, but the shitty season that he had back in Cleveland to now looking at him, like, hey, he's transformed himself as well too. And I do have the rest of our crew's top 5 lists. I'll flash them on the screen.
Oh yeah, if you want to do that, go ahead.
Yeah, so we got Maz and D-Max list.
Of course, Maz got Goff at the bottom.
Why would he put Goff at 5? I don't understand this. But whatever, that's Maz. That's who he is. This D-Max list as well too. He's got Jordan Love on there at 5.
I think hold up just a second. No disrespect to D-Mac, but I think no Stafford on this list is lunacy.
Yeah, after the year that he had, yeah.
Just in the fact that if you were to put him at an all-time ranking of all NFC quarterbacks, he would be at the top of those currently active, and the fact that he's still pretty damn good.
Yeah, Jordan Love got to play his way back into a top 5 spot to me, but
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Here's Braylon and Kool-Aid's list.
So you see Matthew Stafford, E&E, not to
Yeah.
like they heavily favor
not big golf fans on that show.
Matthew Stafford, but I think I mentioned that at the beginning.
Putting
but
Stafford over Hurts, I mean, that's a little crazy to me.
I
just a
think
little
people, I think with Stafford, and I'm not saying that I agree because obviously I had him at 4. I think people, if you value arm talent, if you value the Super Bowl season, and if you value the fact that too, Matthew Stafford, since he's been a Ram, has a 109 passer rating in the playoffs.
Yeah,
he has been
damn
in
good.
every game that he's played with the Rams in the playoffs, he has played some version of well. So I think that could factor in. I just think that Stafford is maybe only has a year or 2 left. That's what factors in me putting him lower on the list. But yeah, Kool-Aid. Hey, if he were here, he could really defend this.
Even Kool-Aid didn't put golf at 1. Okay, all right, non-biased. I like it.
Super Bowl MVPs are, you join a rarefied air that you get put in that same room with guys like, Brady and Mahomes and Peyton Manning and, Joe Montana, Terry, obviously he's not as good as those guys. It's the same thing with like Nick Sirianni being a Super Bowl head coach. He's obviously not Bill Walsh, Belichick, Andy Reid, but you get put in a rarefied air that others don't. So Jalen Hurts, I think he's earned it, but obviously you know how I feel.
Baker over Stafford, though.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that.
It's a tough one, Kool-Aid.
But I think Kool-Aid has an anti-Stafford bias. I know him pretty well.
That's a fact.
But that's all right. Go ahead.
Someone did put golf at number 1. El Presidente, Mr. Neil Rule.
Neil was gonna do that. I'm not mad. I'm not mad at his list.
I'm not mad.
I'm still. People putting Baker over Stafford is.
I'm not mad at Neil's list necessarily. It's just that I've always had a problem with how Stick and Neil have handled how Goff played in the divisional round.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just a lot of defend and deflect. And I don't necessarily like that. You can give credit for Jared Goff for what he did in the regular season. Phenomenal, legit MVP candidate. What he did in the playoffs the year before. But this was a epic fail in the playoffs. And if you really think Jared Goff is that great, you got to hold him to that standard. And hopefully he can get back to that next year.
Yeah, it's a dent in the Carfax. I will give you that. So.
And then I think Easy's just trying to start shit with his list.
Oh, you already know Easy. Jared Goff is way at the bottom.
Golf at 5, everybody.
Yeah, I could have guessed that in my fucking sleep.
Yeah. I mean, I don't agree with Goff at 5. I don't agree with Stafford at 1, but I can see the logic for Stafford at 1. Goff at 5.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's tough.
Do you guys want to know though a fun fact about Baker Mayfield, which makes me want to vomit saying it, but I'm not going to be on some hater shit. Baker Mayfield is the number 1 rated playoff passing quarterback of all time. That's an actual fact. But to be fair, remember in the Commanders game this year, that botched end around, that was a fumble that led to the Commanders game-winning touchdown. That doesn't go against your passer rating.
Yeah.
So
it's just the inconsistencies with Baker, but he has played himself into being talked about as one of the better quarterbacks.
I talked about him like
NFC.
he was just a piece of trash on the street, and he proved me wrong.
No,
we all did.
We all did. Maz was the only one propping up Baker propaganda. So I mean, it is what it is, but he was right. He was right. The kids got moxie.
He was pimping Baker Mayfield even when they were playing the Lions in the NFC Championship game. I remember as the Buccaneers were looking to tie the game when they were down 8, the drive in which Derek Barnes eventually ended it with an interception. Right before the drive happened, like Tom Mazaway with like his erect penis was like, oh, Baker.
Hey, yo.
He's just so cool. Oh, Baker. Oh,
thank you, Big Willie. Stop.
Baker, my Baker. But to be fair, Maz, you were correct that he's a damn good quarterback, and I was very wrong that he was washed and trashed and a bust. He is certainly not. That's why I put him on my top 5, not on some hater shit, but I certainly was.
And to some degree, they hit on Malik Willis a little bit. To some degree.
I mean, he played
to some degree.
He played well for the Packers when he was asked to go in.
Yeah.
Although that Bears game to end the year, I think the Packers could have used the people saying that Malik Willis was actually better than Jordan Love. I think were
that's
insane.
Crazy.
But
that's crazy.
Malik Beasley, we love him. Malik Willis actually, I think, proved something, that he's not just, a piece of trash on the street. If you put him in a situation, he can win you some games.
Yeah.
And that is 100% fair. Do you want to go through these really quick and see if anybody's got like a favorite list? I know my favorite list is mine. Because it was also the consensus, not a coincidence. But JB, since you've been just looking at them, do you have a favorite list?
Just flipping through all of these. No, I probably. I'm trying to see. All right, I'll go with Kool-Aid's list. I'll give him that. Kool-Aid. You got Hurts at 1, Goff 2, Daniels, Baker Mayfield, and Matthew Stafford. Honestly, 4 and 5 could be flip-flop interchangeable. It's just how you feel about it. But, yeah, I think that list is solid for me.
All right.
Yeah.
Are you vibing with Neil's list because he's got Goff at 1?
I mean, I would be more in line with that list,
fair.
but yeah, nobody got like the top 5 that I had. So I mean, it is what it is.
That is fair.
Yeah.
And just one little tidbit, and this isn't me trying to, get at you guys or Broder.
It is.
There is not a single person of the 9 that were pulled that put Jaden Daniels any lower than 3. You guys go against the grain. Broder go against the grain. I've done it before many times. I just want to throw that out there.
Hey,
maybe you guys are smarter than all of us, and that's certainly possible because we got a lot of talented, smart people here.
He is not your savior in Kendrick voice. We got to see it again.
Jaden Daniels is very much is the savior.
Yeah,
he
we
very
just
much
got to
is the
see
savior
it
of the
again.
Commanders.
We
He literally did
again.
save them.
No, that's a fact. But we got to see it another year or
fair
2
enough. Fair
at
enough.
least.
I want a CJ Stroud type of episode again where he had an amazing rookie season, and the next thing you know, all right, well.
Sam get mad when we bring up CJ Stroud
No,
name. We're not saying he had a bad year.
Like he turned into Ryan Leaf.
Yeah, but still, compared to what you thought he was going to do, or a lot of people thought he was going to do in year 2, that didn't happen.
The wide receiver room all died.
Hey man.
The O-line couldn't protect him.
You got to overcome, bro.
They won a playoff game, just like they did the year before. Of course they got to overcome to some extent, but my point is that CJ Stroud, given the circumstances, wasn't bad. Did his numbers take a dip? Absolutely they did, and I'm a big numbers guy, but he was the second most sacked quarterback in the NFL, and Steph Diggs, Tank Dell, and Nico Collins all missed significant time.
He wasn't the MVP.
Obviously.
A lot of people wanted him to be MVP. I'm just saying.
Obviously, he wasn't the MVP. He couldn't even sniff the MVP. I understand that. But still, I think that the CJ Stroud slander has gone a little bit too far. But we'll see. He's got a chance to right some of the wrongs next year. And Jaden Daniels, I think we can all agree if Jaden Daniels does what he does next year, I think even you guys and Broder might be willing to put him higher on the list, or maybe even number 1.
Yeah, absolutely.
To me, I think it's obvious out of the NFC quarterbacks, and maybe you guys disagree that his ceiling is higher than everybody else's.
No, that's a fact.
Okay.
I won't argue that at all.
Fair enough.
And shout out Broder going against I think he meant grain. Going against the grain makes your meat more tender.
No, I'm not mad at it. Trust me. I get
suspect, Broder, but
I get
you know
where
you're
you're
my
coming
guy.
from. I obviously think you got Daniels ranked too low, and I think you got to ding Goff a little bit more than you did, but that's okay.
Yeah.
At least we all got opinions, and we're all going to see next year.
On my Stephen A. shit, the list is fluid. Okay,
Yep.
It's fluid.
Absolutely. It is very, very fluid. But Dr. Pierce.
Dr. Pierce.
Not
hey.
fluid.
Yeah, no, not at all. But he does have that secret sauce, and we still don't know what that secret sauce is. I don't know what it is. But attention, all sports fans and the common folk out there, don't miss out on expert sports injury insights with Dr. Jeff Pierce of Michigan Sports and Spine. Join Dr. Pierce every Tuesday during Big D Energy and Thursdays during Ermanni and Edwards with Mass, where he offers top-notch injury advice. Trust the guy that D-Mac trusted with his career. Dr. Jeff Pierce is here to keep you in the game and performing at your best. For more info, visit MichiganSportsAndSpine.com or call 248-426-9944.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
No one gives away more cash and prizes than Woodward Sports. You don't believe us? Here's our latest $10,000 winner.
You guys posted, hey, if you guess all this stuff right, we'll give it's $10,000. I'm like, okay, well, why the hell not?
And the winning doesn't stop there. How about our Outkick Your Coverage winner?
I think you won. We got to
everybody.
Cover it up.
This guy's got a hot girl.
bigger prizes, bigger giveaways, cash, merch, tickets, and more. All from the biggest sports network in Detroit. No one does it bigger and better than Woodward Sports. Make sure you're following, liking, subscribing on Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube for your chances to share in the winning. From Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Dreaming of a new home but feeling the financial pinch? Mark White & Associates, your trusted real estate experts, are here to help. Mark White and his team will pay up to $5,000 of your closing costs. That's right, I said $5,000. Call Mark White & Associates today at 248-290-8242 or visit them at markwhitesales.com. Again, call Mark White today at 248-290-8242 to make your dreams come true. And now it is time for everybody's one of their favorite segments. KG has cooked up a Would You Rather. So as we answer the questions, I want you guys to get your answers in the chat, and we will read them as we go. So without further ado, question number 1. We will answer this in the order of me, JB, Chase, William. That would be counterclockwise.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, yes. All right.
And also a super chat will get you to the front of the line. Just keep that in mind. Dante, we're going to read your super chats off.
Actually, I will read it before we get there. If the Texans had the Lions offensive line, what do you think there would be? I think the Texans would have been 12 to 14 wins. What about you guys? I think they would have been better. Because, C.J. Stroud, their offensive line wasn't good this year.
Yeah, they sold him.
He was running for his life a lot. That's why I always say his numbers look worse. Watching him, even when he was protected, he did look worse, but it's not as bad as people say, and I think he'll bounce back. I think they would have at least had 11. I'll go 11. I won't go as far as 12 to 14, but I'll go 11.
There were just times of inconsistency,
100%.
Throughout the season if you watch him. But, if he had the Lions offensive line, he probably would have fared better. The
100%.
Texans would have fared better as a team.
Yep.
But it is what it is. But once again, the name of the game is Would You Rather. I will present 2 situations, and you have to answer one to give a brief answer as to why you made that choice. Willie, if you can play a little music in the background, and we shall get started. Number 1, the Tigers. Would you rather the Tigers play through the season with Vierling and Young at third base, or sign and trade for an additional third baseman before opening day? So listen. If you hang with Vierling and Young, you're doing it throughout the whole season. There's no trade deadline.
I am going to go sign and trade without really knowing who's available. I know Nolan Arenado has a no-trade clause, but as much as I'm more comfortable with Vierling and Young than some, if you can upgrade, I'm not necessarily mad at it. And the Tigers have the arsenal to make a deal like that if one becomes available. So I'll go sign and trade.
All right, JB, would you rather the Tigers play through the season with Vierling and Young at third base, or sign and trade for an additional third baseman before opening day?
I really want to say sign and trade, but I'm hoping that the sign and trade is an upgrade than what we have. So is that what I'm getting out of this?
Yeah.
Okay, then sign and trade before opening day. Mix things up just a little bit. Like, I'm not giving up on Vierling and them, but I just need to see something different.
All right, Chase.
I'm going to go with Vierling and Young just because I need a name for the sign and trade, because I like who would be this upgrade that we're getting. So that like there's some factors that weigh into that. I mean, I'd be cool with getting Arenado, but outside of that, I feel like do you have anybody off the top of your head, KG, that you're like really wanting on this team to play third base?
I mean,
in the American League.
I wouldn't mind JD Martinez there, but that ain't my. I'm not beating down the door for it, but.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think JD Martinez has it in him to play third base, especially at like 30.
Probably not. Yeah, he's been mostly DH the last.
I mean, I think like the idea of it is nice, but realistically, I don't know if like there's anybody out there who really, wets the whistle enough for you to go make that type of deal with. So I'm just gonna say Vierling and Young.
And that's the thing. Before we get to you, William, I agree that in theory I would need to hear a name. The reason why I still say sign and trade is that Vierling still has value even if he doesn't start at third base. He could play all over the outfield. He could play spot duty at third base pretty much everywhere. So I want Vierling on this team, but if you could have Vierling getting 500 at-bats plus an upgrade at third, or even 300 or 400 at-bats plus an upgrade at third, I think that would be better for the team, although I don't hate Vierling and Young as much as some.
All right, Willie, did you want to answer this?
Definitely the Tigers need to change something with the third bases. So JD, that's not a good idea at all, because he usually don't produce except if you're on the batting and then DH. So I'd rather stay where you at as a designated hitter. So I didn't need something new at third base.
Okay.
So that's my opinion.
All right, we got some interesting answers in the chat. Weezy D313, Vierling and Young, they love Matt. Mint Made, sign and trade. Dante151, sign and trade. Pat D, bring up the kids. Yeah, we still got to wait on that. DJ Justice, I like Vierling, but I go get a guy. Oh, Crazy Clown, I think Jay Young will develop just fine, and maybe he will. I mean, it's yet to be seen, but if I'm doing this, considering that you may not be able to get a third baseman at the trade deadline, I would try to add someone.
Okay.
And I don't know who that someone would be. I know, some people have scoffed at Justin Turner, understandably so. He's a little bit older, but I think you just need a little bit more juice in that room, especially somebody that can hit at the plate. Now, if you're not going to be good defensively at third base, I can live with that, but you got to be able to have a little pop in the bat, and that's all I would ask for. But if I had the choice, I would go sign or trade for another third baseman.
Fair enough.
All right, number 2. If things stand as, well, let's say hypothetically, the Tigers opening day starting pitching rotation: Skubal, Flaherty, Olsen, and Skubal, Flaherty, Olsen, and Joe. Skubal, Flaherty, Olsen, and Joe. If those are your starting rotation pitchers, who would you want to be that fifth guy? Would you rather Casey Mize make the starting rotation or Kenta Maeda make the starting rotation?
Casey Mize. I don't have much confidence in him moving forward. He's got to show it, but he has had a lot of injuries, and I think this year he has a healthy offseason. And Kenta Maeda, do you think he's going to bounce back at this stage of his career? I think the bounce back and the potential for Casey Mize is much, much greater. So give me Casey Mize.
He looked better as a reliever, but I ain't saying much. JB, who would you want to be that fifth man in the starting rotation? Would you rather Casey Mize or Kenta Maeda?
Give me Casey Mize. Just a simple fact is the name that we're all familiar and comfortable with. So I'm going to roll with Casey Mize.
All right. Chase.
I mean, should be an easy answer of Casey Mize. Kenta Maeda, the man from the land of the rising sun, is in the twilight and the sunset of his career. So he should be getting some fill-in duty in the bullpen. Eating some innings. But you got to see what you can get out of Casey Mize, and I feel like this is kind of close to the end of the rope with him. So.
All right, Willie, you got to answer.
You got to go for Casey.
All right.
He got some life in his pitching, and most definitely they need to use him in his rotation. And something goes wrong with the other pitchers, he'd be following suit of that. He'd be warm up after that.
All right. Obviously, I am seeing a lot of Mize in the chat. Damn, y'all ain't got no love for Maeda no more, man.
Why would we have any love for Maeda?
No, and I don't either. Just to be fair, I don't either. But
Maeda
seeing a lot of Mize.
here.
But the only thing with Casey Mize is that I would say this is his last leg.
Sure.
Maybe being a starting pitcher for this team, or maybe even being on the team, period. But, we tried to give him the injury excuse last year. He still kept his ERA in the 4s, but it's just you would like to see more from him, especially with the type of stuff that he possesses.
And, of course, he got hurt catching a pop-up.
Yeah, I mean, and just the injury-prone aspect. He has battled injuries pretty much his whole tenure as a Tiger. But number 3, we are shifted to the Pistons. When Jaden Ivey returns, would you rather keep Ausar Thompson as a starter permanently or send him back to the bench in favor of THJ or Tobias Harris?
I got this one.
Go ahead, Will. Go ahead, Will.
First of all, Ausar Thompson, he could play small forward on a shooting guard. Either way. And Jaden Ivey, he should go back and should start at 6-man again. But he needs until he came
Watch
back.
yourself, Willie. That's an unpopular opinion around here. Watch yourself.
I ain't scared up in here. So I'm on Dexter Jordan Road. What's up? Anyways, like I said, Jaden Ivey, if he works back in the starting rotation, keep him in the starting rotation. Ausar Thompson could play the 3. And that'll be a good fit because he could guard 1 through 4, and he's strong enough to be a 6'8" wing. So
yeah. I think the only argument is that, Ausar Thompson's offensive game, while it's been good lately, it isn't the most developed thing in the world.
Streaker.
But that's yet to be seen. But, Sam, do you have an answer?
Keep Ausar Thompson in the starting lineup at all costs. I have fallen in love, and my love is Ausar Thompson. And I say that as somebody who doubted him at times, at least in terms of could his offensive game, could his lack of shooting, would that be a liability, or does he bring enough else to the table? I am determined that he brings enough else to the table with his ability to play point guard, his ability to guard 1 through 4, his finishing ability, moving without the ball. Like in the month of February, he's averaging 15, 6, and 4 on 70% shooting. He's not making any threes, but he is impacting winning. He's the type of guy that you want on your team all of the time. And I don't know his per 36 minutes, but they're probably really damn good because he's doing this while playing about 25 minutes a night. Give me Ausar Thompson in the starting lineup, no matter who you have to send to the bench. Anybody but Cade and obviously someone like Duran.
All right, JB.
Keep Ausar in the starting lineup. Let Ivy, as he's making his way back, kind of work himself back into that starting rotation. But it's gonna take some time. You want to make sure
you got Ivy coming off the bench too.
You want to make sure that he's okay to still handle those responsibilities and everything. And just as the Pistons right now, they have this momentum and this mojo going with their starting click that they have. So let's just let him ease his way back into the lineup in the rotation.
I'm surprised that stick hasn't spawned.
I swear.
It's pop up somewhere.
No, I swear. Chase, got to get your answer. And I know you want to sit Tobias, so I pretty much know your answer. But
I want to put Ivy back in the starting lineup. Then I think we could kumbaya, and you could maybe get that attaboy you've been looking for out of me, Sam. If a certain power forward became a 6th or 7th man off the bench, like I've been requesting and saying all year. I feel like some of the hate's been blown out of proportion. All I wanted is a little bit of a diminished role for him, and I think coming off the bench would be exactly perfect for one Tobias Harris in favor of Jaden Ivey and Ausar Thompson in the starting lineup.
I will say this.
Go ahead.
I actually think the biggest Tobias hater in the room is JB.
Still am.
Because Chase, I will say this.
Join the club.
You've been more of an advocate of him coming off the bench. JB has used his time during these questions to not go with a realistic option, be like, I want Tobias off the team. You probably want him tarred and feathered on the way out. And you had reason, but he has played better lately. At least you're come off the bench. He's just I never want him to, there needs to be a Tobias border wall.
Right.
In the city of Detroit.
Build a wall for Tobias Harris.
He's played better, but it's just not who I imagine on this Pistons team. And I give you credit for doing your job and being out there, but as of right now, you're just not my person, bro. I'm serious.
Go ahead, KG.
All right, so the element I didn't account for was so many people saying Ivy off the bench. When Ivy returns, and that could be this season because I see Weezy D313, I don't need Ivy to come back this year. This might be a move for next year as well, but if Ausar continues to play this well, I think you have no choice but to keep him in the starting lineup, although you will be losing some floor spacing. But I think Ivy returns to the starting lineup. So that would put either THJ or Tobias, up for candidates to be benched. So I think I would keep Tobias in the starting lineup, being honest, man. I would sit THJ. Yeah,
honestly, I'd probably agree with you. I know I gave keep Asar in the starting lineup at all costs, but if I were to give an answer, I'd take THJ to the bench.
Yeah, we got some interesting answers in here. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Malik Beasley to the bench, easy. Weezy D313.
Already on the bench.
A lot of people are saying Asar needs to start at this point. THJ to the bench. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of people in support of Asar Thompson. So that was a good one, man. This one, another Pistons one, and it's in terms of what do you see down the line for Cade Cunningham. Would you rather Cade Cunningham win All-Star MVP and the Most Improved Player award, or Cade win the three-point contest and make an All-NBA team?
See, I would rather the second one. I would rather three-point contest and All-NBA team, because I think All-NBA that's how you really know you've arrived. There's no question about popularity contests or not. Not that Cade made it because of popularity contests, but all NBAs, those are currency. Those are things that you can use when we're ranking players and whatnot. My only caveat to that is there is a snowball's chance in hell that Cade Cunningham is winning the three-point contest. But I will take that combination.
You never know. He shouldn't
be there.
Shouldn't win, and he shouldn't probably be there, but I'm not going to count him out, though.
Okay.
It's a three-point contest. Anybody can win. But JB,
who was in the three-point contest? I'm trying to figure this out real quick.
I know Darius Garland. I got it. Yeah, you got the list.
Cade, Garland, Tyler Hero, Buddy Hill, Cameron Johnson, Dame, and Norman Powell.
Cade can win, bro. No, I'm not saying he will. I'm just saying he can win.
I don't think
he has a shot,
and that's okay.
He's got a shot, and if I gotta choose either or, give me the 3-point in All NBA. I think that matters a lot more than just your All-Star MVP.
And the Most Improved award?
And the Most Improved, yeah.
All right.
What was the question again? Sorry.
All right. Would you rather Cade win All-Star MVP and the Most Improved Player award at the end of the year, or would you rather Cade win the three-point contest and make an All NBA team?
I would say the All-Star Game MVP, and then Most Improved Player.
I like that you try to be bold. I like it.
I think that ultimately gets him more love and more shine. Like, how many people can you name from the 15 All-NBA last year? Like, I'm sure he's probably just the top 15 players in the league, but
yeah.
It just this All-Star game sticks out in people's mind more. I feel like more of the casual fan tunes in something like that than the All-NBA first, third, and second and third team list. So I think just hopefully give Cade some more love, some more shine, and some more spotlight. Let's get him with the All-Star Game MVP.
Yeah, I like that because people sleeping on the All-Star Game MVP aspect of this. But Willie, do you have an answer to this?
Yes, I do. Cade should win All-Star MVP and Most Improved Player of the Year.
Okay.
He been most improved all season than most of the other players in the league. He came in, averaged 26, almost nine assists.
Yep.
5.6 rebounds. Yeah, he deserved it. And Most Improved Player than all the players in the league. And All-Star MVP, that would be far-fetched, but that would be awesome for him to win.
All right. Let's see some of the answers in the chat. DJ Justice, 3-point and All-NBA. Mid-made, All-NBA, and 3. Eric Allen, All-NBA team. That's easy. That's an All-Pro in the NFL, and you are technically right about that. But if Cade were to go out here and win the All-Star MVP and the Most Improved Player, I think that puts Cade on a stage that he has yet to touch. Like, we talk about how the national media are finally starting to realize the type of player that Cade Cunningham is. If he were to go out there and win All-Star MVP and then follow that up with a Most Improved Player award, I think that does a lot in terms of his profile and how he's viewed in the NBA. And we want Cade to start getting that star treatment, right? Start getting some of these all-star calls, start getting, a little bit of respect around the league. And I think that'll go a long way towards that. Although the All-NBA nod is probably the most important award out of all of these.
I was going to say, and this is where I'm going to strongly disagree with all of you three.
How?
And maybe I'm the fun police, I don't think the All-Star Game MVP means a damn thing.
No, it doesn't. But what it does show is that if Cade were to go do that, you did that against the best of the best of the best. And I understand there's not really defense played, and I know they done a lot of things to tweak the game. But for him to do that on a stage where these are the undoubtedly best players in the NBA, I think that would say something to how Cade Cunningham is viewed.
But to me, I don't value as much of how he's viewed as opposed to what he's accomplished, that you can really look at and be like, he is an all NBA player. Like when we're ranking, like if we're doing GOAT lists, which we're not going to do because that could turn into like a 5-hour show.
Right.
You don't bring up things like All-Star Game MVP. You bring up all NBAs.
True.
At least.
But you would bring up a most improved too. And then I think, following that up with a most improved award, that's something that Cade gets to have on his own. That's an award that, he's not sharing with anybody. That's something that he can say he accomplished for that year, and he will go down in the history books. Either way, he'll go down in the history books.
That's a good point in terms of not sharing it. I like that point. Yeah. I still disagree, but I'm not mad at it.
I got you. And our final question of the day. Of course, we got to do some TLB right now. Would you rather Brad Holmes draft 2 defensive end prospects or sign a top defensive end free agent?
Just say Myles Garrett. Just say it.
It ain't got to be Myles Garrett. Once again, I said free agent. Myles Garrett technically ain't a free agent. But if the Myles Garrett thing were to not happen, would you want to see Brad Holmes, maybe in the vein of what he did last year, do an overhaul by drafting 2 defensive end prospects? Or would you rather him just sign a top defensive end free agent prospect?
Obviously, I'd have to look at the free agents. The only one that I know for sure is Josh Sweat, who we just saw on a national stage. But in terms of
Josh Sweat would do a lot for this team.
In terms of philosophically, Chase, what do you got?
I just pulled up the list just to give you some names.
Perfect, Chase.
Yeah, just to help for you guys. Khalil Mack, 34 years old. Hassan Reddick, 30. I'm just telling you what they'll likely be next year. 31 years old. Matt Judon, 33. DeMarcus Lawrence, 33. Josh Sweat, 28. Chase Young, 26. Jerome Baker, 29. Charles Matthew, 28. Marcus Davenport, name, 29.
I think Marcus Davenport that's a good way to conclude the list. Thank you, Chase.
We good on it. We'll pass on Davenport.
I appreciate that. I would probably still say sign a free agent. There are a couple that I hear in there that I like, depending on a good price.
Everybody except Davenport would come in and help this team. Yeah, I think they would.
I like DeMarcus Lawrence a lot.
Yeah.
Obviously, Khalil Mack would be insane. That would also be the greatest pass rushing duo ever, by the way. Khalil Mack and Aiden Hutchinson, in my opinion. So yeah, give me a free agent, even if it's a little bit high price, because you never know with draft picks, and I think that the Lions could use that bookend, even though Zadarius Smith could be it. I think that's something they're ready to win now, and I think a high-priced free agent defensive end who could help, that Brad Holmes might able to even be get on a discount because he's a wizard, I think that'd be more helpful than a draft.
And like you said, win now. That is the key thing here. The Lions are in a win now position, so you also have to take that into account. Jay Bizzle, what you got for me?
Hearing the free agents, Khalil Mack is definitely the one that I would like to bring here. So sign that big money market free agent that you got. I know Brad's whole ideal is to draft and, bringing in these young new players to develop them a little bit more. But KG, as you said, we are in a win now mode, and I think Khalil Mack could add to this defense and just be a monster. So sign that big free agent.
That would be nice. Chase, you pulled up the list. What you thinking, bro? Draft 2 DNs or sign a top free agent?
The only name that I really liked out of that list would be Josh Sweat, and part of that I think might just be some recency bias from the Super Bowl performance, but also he's only going to be 28.
He's 28. He's damn good.
That's probably the most enticing free agent name. Outside of that, if it's not him, then let go to the draft, or the trade market.
But you would pick sign the free agent first.
Yeah. If it's Josh Sweat, sign the free agent.
Okay. All right. Big Willie, do you got something on this?
Yeah, a little bit. Just a little bit.
Okay.
It's out of my topic when it comes to sports, but football-wise, if it get a free agent, that's fine. But get another draft pick. If I get a draft pick and a draft pick for a defense end, I get Deion Walker for University of Kentucky. 6'5", 350 pounds, quick on his feet. good size and a nose for the ball for the young man that's being so ahead of the defense end. When I saw him in University of Kentucky, that'll be a good pick for the Lions to have on a roster. And another defensive end, but I can't name him, but still.
Yeah.
But he's one of the top picks in that draft, so I think it would be a good one if I pick 2 draft picks over a free agent.
All right, and shout out to Steven Baffy in the chat. Why not do both? Holmes signed CD3, Amik, and drafted TA and Rake last year. Maybe we need to sign 2 and draft 2. Just for the purposes, I do agree with that, but just for the purposes of the game, would you rather him prioritize getting the big money free agent or just draft and develop the edge rushers that we think could take us to the next level? I do see Shad in here, 216. Shout out to you. Sign Mac and put him in Barnes' old spot, but for this specific question, I'd say draft. And yeah, we got a little bit of a mixed bag in here. Chase, did you have something?
I was just gonna say I saw like kind of that similar reaction in the chat from one of our own. Easy said draft, and then he followed that up with a bring back Davenport, but he put the little like he was quietly
hell no.
So,
He's
yeah.
We good on Davenport.
I can't.
Okay,
I can't with the Davenport love.
I wouldn't be mad if they brought him back, but he cannot be in the starting role in any capacity.
I would. I'd be mad if they brought back Davenport.
The only reason I wouldn't be mad, and I wouldn't want him to be back, but if they were to bring him back, I think that contract would be lower than the previous contract. You sign him for another year, give him maybe, veterans minimum. I don't know what he would go for, but I know it'd be cheaper than the $6 to $7 million that he made on this previous contract.
I can't.
Just for depth purposes?
Philosophically, I think I would lose my mind. And it's because, let me just say this. I know that part of the analysis that we do when it comes to drafts is just as simple as, Brad Holmes. Whatever Brad Holmes says. Brad Holmes says. This was one of the exact cases where, no, it wasn't what Brad Holmes said. Marcus Davenport was an F- because of health.
Yeah.
But we knew that. We knew that he was an injury-prone player. So bringing him back, I don't care if he makes the vet's minimum. No, thank you.
Okay.
Maybe I'll be proven wrong if Davenport signs somewhere else, but I can't do it.
Trust me, I won't argue you down on that point. I will not. But when you look at just this draft and how loaded it is, well, for one, I do think Brad Holmes would do both, but just for the purposes of the game. When you mention Josh Sweat, Khalil Mack, just some of the names on there, even like you said, DeMarcus Lawrence, I think that's you can net at least one of those guys to come in this locker room, and they would instantly upgrade what you have now. And you already have Zadarius Smith here under contract, so if you can put him maybe in a depth role and go out and get a Josh Sweat or or even a Khalil Mack for 1 year. Hey, look, we'll give you a 1 year deal. We'll give you what you want, and let's just see where the chips fall. I wouldn't be mad at that. I think you go get that free agent. You're in win now mode.
I'm not gonna lie. DeMarcus Lawrence has me pretty excited.
No,
maybe be like the number 2 edge, like he was with Parsons.
That's a solid list of defensive ends out there.
Don't think he'd be that expensive because he's not really like a high sack guy.
Right. Coming from a shit situation in Dallas to this, I mean, I'm just saying, but I would probably pursue that free agent. But that is Would You Rather for today.
Absolutely. And let me tell you about Soroki's Chicken and Pizza. Soroki's Crispy Chicken and Pizza is a limited time offer continuing throughout the football season. Soroki's is debuting their fresh signature flavored wings this football season. Grab your friends, order a New York style pizza, and add fresh wings for the games this weekend. Try one of their 7 different flavors or go to Sorokis.com.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in the clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long?
Remember these guys you want.
Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Feldman Chevrolet, Detroit's #1 Chevy dealer. Since 1996, Feldman Automotive has been driven to provide a fast, convenient, and first-class car buying experience called the Feldman Advantage. With 18 locations, there's a Feldman dealership in your backyard. Visit FeldmanAuto.com to find the location nearest you. And now it's time for everybody's favorite segment. That is What's Trending with JB. So without further ado...
Now it's time for the most electrifying segment on the internet. Bum, bum, bum. It's What's Trending with JB. Live on Wake Up Woodward.
Introducing the mouth of the South, JB Smooth.
Hey, yo. What's up, you guys? What's up, chat family? Oh, also, happy Valentine's Day to everyone in the chat and to you guys as well, too. Shout out. We were talking about the Eagles a little bit earlier and everything. I have you know that today is their parade that they have right now.
I don't want to see that shit.
I know. What's so crazy is that they've also canceled school as well.
Yeah, I saw that.
Kids can attend this parade, and the line is already crazy, outrageous at 7 a.m. But I wanted to bring this up because Saquon Barkley is so happy with his offensive line that he wants them to enjoy this offseason. That he has bought them all truckloads of Bud Light.
Oh, shit.
to enjoy for this offseason. So, shout out to Saquon for going above and beyond right here.
I mean, you got to show the big boys love. They the reason you got in that position. But, yeah, I also saw the Jimmy Fallon thing that's mentioned here. He wanted all of his offensive linemen to be on the Jimmy Fallon show. He didn't just want himself to be there. I think you got to show the big boys love, man. And I love when people go out of their way to show love to the offensive line. You know, we saw Jared Goff give all the offensive linemen all, the steaks, the fancy tomahawk steaks. This is pretty dope, man.
Yeah, honestly, Saquon appreciates having this O-line uniquely because he was with the Giants for his whole career.
Right. Yeah, facing 8 in the box every goddamn
Still put
play.
up numbers with the Giants, but when he gets to the Eagles with this O-line, it's unfair.
I know. It's just so sad to see. But happy for Saquon and his new offensive line that he has going on right now. I got to show you guys this because how unlucky can one camera guy be in one game? What the hell?
Oh.
Been there before.
Oh, come on.
That almost happened.
Come on, man. That's tough.
Come on. Like, this is just one game. Like,
hey, that's tough.
I'm just trying to do my job. That's
got to be karma for something, bro. You don't just be at the wrong place at the wrong time twice. Like, that's karma. You was on some bullshit that day or something.
We got to check what this guy's been doing in his life.
Right.
Is he cheating on his wife or something?
Yeah, so he might be. He might be going to have an affair right after the game.
Right after the game.
That's
Will,
tough, bro.
Have you had this happen to you, Will?
Yes, I did. East of Michigan in 2016.
Oh, damn.
Fight almost broke up. Cincinnati Heights versus East of Michigan. One of the first games I was under the rim with the camera. James Thompson got in an altercation with one of the centers. He almost slammed the other guy next to my camera.
Yeah.
Well, I was a little quick on my feet back then. And I got
not so much now, huh? He talking about back then.
Back in the day.
Yes, indeed. So
back in the day.
It wasn't that long ago, but yeah, I was close to it.
Oh, man.
But you know what? Shout out to Kool-Aid. He's now over at All-Star Weekend. Hope you have some fun and everything like that. But to celebrate All-Star Weekend, the Jordan brand did something a little bit special for them as they're celebrating the 40th anniversary relaunch of the Air Jordan 1.
Nice.
They actually had drones over the bay, recreating the Jordans and the number 23 and 1 symbol. So
y'all know how I feel about drone shows. They should take the place of fireworks. Fireworks are dead. Like, that shit. Don't nobody want to hear fucking fireworks banging in the sky, and then you only get 2 seconds of enjoyment out of it. I think drone shows are the future, and that's dope that they can actually do shit like this. That's a pretty detailed looking shoe in the sky.
Yeah,
so
really.
that's pretty fire to me. But
Remember all those wildfires too, KG? I mean, you're absolutely right. We should just switch to the
Yeah,
drones.
bro,
So,
like,
they're doing this in San Francisco, and where are they bitching about all these wildfires happening, like California?
Yeah.
Like,
What is this? The Civil fucking war? Why is we still using fireworks,
you got
bro?
Silicon Valley, you know.
Yeah, like I just think it makes sense.
Sure.
Sam, no opinion.
Could not care less, but this is cool. Any hoops. JD, sorry that sounded disrespectful. Not trying to be disrespectful.
No, it's cool. Like I said, some people enjoy drones, some people don't. Hey, you never know. But I'm glad that we got Willie here as well too, because I remember earlier this week he was talking about how he fell off a ladder, and not to bring up bad memories, but I think I found the footage. So just let me know if this is it or not, or if this was way worse.
Let me see.
Oh!
I was that was worse.
God!
I got tilted.
Damn!
I got tilted to the left, to the right.
Holy shit! That's a broken rib, bro.
He fell.
He put a dent in that plastic, whatever that chair.
No, that's not plastic. That's that like wicker weaved wood. Like, you know what I'm talking about? What they take.
Yeah, but it's
tough ass shit.
That hurts.
I don't know. They move kind of easy. I don't think it was.
Well, yeah, they're not heavyweight.
Yeah, I don't
like,
think it's heavy,
they're
but
well made. Like, you can sit on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
that's tough, bro.
That's why we use bucket trucks now.
You know my man in pain. He did the roll around. You know when you do the roll around, you really in some pain. Like that's
oh yeah.
Look at how he rolled after he hit the fucking ground.
Oh, that's a debt.
Yep. The roll.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a broken rib.
That's
dog.
a broken rib.
Hey, R.I.P. to homie's rib cage, man. That's tough.
R.I.P. But that's it for what's trending, you guys. Let's hop into some mailbag while we got some time left.
Looking like Jeff Hardy falling off that
We
ladder.
definitely have some time for mailbags. So get your mailbag questions in, because you know what? If you get them in, we will read them. And if you have any questions, we are here.
Yes, sir. And please hit that like button for us. Let's try and get to 100 likes if we can before the end of this broadcast. I know it ain't the typical flavor, but help us out, man. Help us out.
Absolutely. It's a Friday show.
Right.
It was fun. I definitely said some things at the beginning that I probably shouldn't have, but that's
A
all
little
well
bit.
and good.
Yeah, just a little bit. That's normal for you.
Yeah.
That is
it's on brand.
Just
as
another
Neil would
day
say.
that ends in Y. Yes. So just before we get any mailbag questions, what are you guys looking forward to most about All-Star Weekend, or anything at all? Because All-Star Weekend's lost its luster a bit.
Yeah, I mean, the 3-point contest is still something I look forward to. To me, that's taking the place as the premier event at All-Star Weekend. But, you know, having Cade in there this year is really going to make me pay attention. But I'm not excited for the dunk contest, but of course I'm going to watch. It's ingrained in me to watch the dunk contest, although it's been bad for quite some time. So it is what it is. Who's even in the dunk contest this year?
Mac McClung.
Again?
Yeah, get him out.
Yes,
he's
bro.
a G Leaguer.
He's not even in the NBA. That's tough, bro. But he can dunk better than probably the other 3 people you're going to name.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares?
Who else is in there?
Matas Buzelis.
Oh, yeah. This shit is over. This shit is dead, bro. I'm looking forward to the Rising Stars game as well. But, yeah, that's about it.
I'm actually looking forward to the celebrity game tonight.
They still do that, too?
They still do that. And guess what? My girl Bailey will be in the celebrity game.
BBL Bailey.
Shout out.
BBL Bailey. Hey, but I haven't watched a celebrity All-Star game since, Kevin Hart was MVP in that thing? Like, those times were hilarious. But, no, I haven't watched a celebrity game in forever.
Getting some mailbag questions in. Rando Smalls, if Colt Keith struggles, what is our plan at first? Torque?
There is none. I mean, and that's kind of why you wish the Tigers had did a little bit more in terms of the offseason. But yeah, you gotta hope Colt Keith holds it down at first, man, especially defensively, because Torque wasn't that good defensively. And if he can't, if he struggles at the plate, it is what it is. You don't have many options that can come in and save you.
Rando Smalls always bringing up Torque. I'll tell you what, if Torque, the first time that he steps on the field, Rando Smalls will be so hard that he will be double fisting his own dick while he fasts. That's what it's going to be.
Man, what the fuck?
Love you, Rando.
God damn.
Big Willie ain't used to this type of talk, man. You gotta ease him into it, bro. Damn, but no, and it's funny you bring that up, because I wanted to ask you about something that we talked about yesterday on Big D Energy. We ain't really get to talk about it here, but you saw Torque's comments on, looking back at some of his old game tape and, him not really wanting to use the new equipment and shit like that. What you think about that?
Fuck you, Spencer Torkelson. What do you think I think? I'm an analytics guy. I'm about watching your swing and seeing what could happen, not about, I'm just going to go with my gut while you're hitting 218. Eat a dick on your way out of town, Spencer Torkelson.
Eat a dick, old man.
Anywho,
Sam over today. You see what happened with Kool-Aid Leaf? Sam just think he can get his shit off. Oh man, but no, I just had to get your opinion on it. That's all.
Probably honestly should have made it that a segment, but that's all right. You guys covered it beautifully on BDE. Shad 216. Mailbag, on the off chance of this happening, how would Sam react if his non-competitive comments just so happen to be a topic on the St. Brown podcast? I mean, that'd be interesting. I'm sure Amon-Ra St. Brown would strongly disagree with me, and I doubt that it's on there.
Yeah,
but that's all right. Hey, Rando Smalls, at Sam, at least I can double fist it. That's a great comeback. That's a fantastic comeback. I will give you that. Rando,
this show took a turn.
Well done. Can't double fist mine, but that's okay. All right. Skydog, mailbag. More like dumbass, mailbag. If Philly lost 18 players, including Carter and Chase on defense, would Philly had still won the Super Bowl? Who cares? Who cares? Who fucking cares? Take your hypothetical victory lap and shove it. Go to the island that I want all of the idiot fans to go to, where they can't bother us anymore, where they can just jerk each other off and pretend that the Lions won this hypothetical Super Bowl that didn't happen.
And Chase is
Did
leaving.
you know that the parade? Did you know that the parade, Skydog, is actually happening down Woodward right here, right now? Wait, it isn't? Wow!
It's a lot of dick and jerk talk.
I don't care.
This show is taking a turn.
I would take Brandon Katz over Skydog any day of the week. I would take Adolf Hitler in this chat over Skydog any day of the week.
Sheesh, man. Sheesh.
Cousin of the year, Skydog 722.
X-rated morning show early.
Right.
Enjoy your hypothetical Super Bowl,
Damn.
loser.
We need Kool-Aid back in the world.
Holy shit, man. I don't care.
And with that, I think it's safe to wrap it up right there, man.
For Flannel Sam, for KG, for William Baker, for Chase, for JB, this was Wake Up Woodward. Have a great weekend. Hopefully we can recap some All-Star break fun on Monday. We will see you
later.